So it turned out that today, actually, for an early few sessions, it was really good. Normally in the morning people don't turn up and lift particularly heavy, but today was pretty good. So we had... Alright, now I'm really sorry to interrupt you from Quo, because I know we all have Quo, but did you notice that she was using a training log? The Weightlifting House training log. This is literally the third winter we've been wanting to bring this out, and we've finally done it. So this is the Weightlifting House training journal, embossed with the Weightlifting House logo. We've thought long and hard about what needs to be in this. So as you can see when you go in, we have an explanation of how to use every page. You put in the exercises, what you've hit, what you ended up hitting, the times you started. There's a section for notes, there's RPE, there's how your sleep quality was, your food quality, all of these sorts of things. An area for goal setting, making sure that we actually prioritize the certain things that we want to achieve in a certain training period. We have these graphs for you to fill in. We put an example one here that I did. You can have, say, your snatch on the y-axis, time across the x, and then you can just track it. And we have these a few pages worth for you to fill in for exercises you want to fill in. And then it's just onto daily training, a single day for each, or a single page for each day of training. This is a new Weightlifting House training log. You can get it at the link down below. Hsing-chun turned up initially, and this is the day before she competes, so she's never going to go heavy, but it's always fun to just watch her lift because she does move so well. She ended up muscle snatching just all the way up to 65 kilos. Obviously her best competition snatch is 110, so we're looking at about 55% of her snatch for a muscle snatch. She then did power clean and push press up to 90, a few front squats to 145, which is basically her best clean and jerk ever, so I guess she's just checking that she's got that in her. Not that she's going to need it tomorrow. She should have the easiest win of the whole competition potentially. Maybe even easier than Lasha's going to have it, though he's going to have it easy too. But you know, she hit that. Team Belgium turned up as well. Yasmin Stevens from Malta turned up. Then in that second session, Uzbekistan, again, they didn't do a huge amount, honestly. Australia turned up though. We saw Kyle Bruce, he went 120, 150 in the snatch and clean and jerk. Another athlete from Australia, Isabel Lorenzi, she went 95 in the snatch, which is pretty big, 105 clean and jerk. And then the big dog, the 180 Goliath, David Leach from New Zealand turned up. Today he wasn't just DJing, he was actually lifting. He had a pretty heavy session. He went 171 in the snatch, 220 clean and jerk, which, you know, these aren't his top numbers, but they're, you know, we're at 90% plus at that point, so that was exciting to see. Miso Sona from Qatar, he was also here. We know that he's not in the best shape, you know, you saw it yesterday on the video, but he hit 245 kilo front squat, so about 30 kilos down on his best ever front squat. Then in session 3, Mohammed Ehab turned up, and that was probably the most interesting and exciting part of the day because we haven't seen him yet. In fact, he wasn't even going to be here at these World Championships because Egypt hadn't paid their fine, which had kept them banned for the last... I mean, we haven't seen Ehab since like 2018 Worlds, maybe? It's been a long time. So he turned up, and despite his training having looked quite good, he snatched 160 in training, he's done some pretty decent clean and jerks. He went up to a 160 clean and jerk, missed the jerk a couple times, then made it, cleaned 180, didn't attempt the jerk, moved platforms because he was getting agitated by everyone being around, started building up again, and on a 160 jerk, it looked like he hurt his leg. So he left it there and then just did some upper body, strict press 110, which is actually very legit for an 81 kilo lifter, like really legit. I guess that's why his shoulders are so absurd. Did a few snatch pulls, that sort of stuff. Team GB was in, Sarah Davies back squatting up to 150 kilos actually, because she was lifting on a men's bar. And in general, yeah, a really fun session today. So next we've got, in fact I'm not even sure who we've got next, but we do have Georgia coming in about 2 hours time. They're going to have, well, Lash is going to have his heavy day, so I think we can honestly expect like, what, 210 snatch? Last time he did this, it was about 210, 255. You never know, we might see like a 215 snatch, which would be utterly unbelievable if we do, so, you know, I'm hoping that happens. Anyway, we'll catch you guys on the next one. So we're recording this at the end of the day because so much has happened, and to be totally honest, this was by far the best day we've had. We started off with we had Ehab and everyone, then the Koreans came in, South Koreans, obviously North Korea not competing in this competition, haven't competed in a while to be fair. The Koreans were great. We saw Jin Song snatching up to 180 kilos, a clean jerk 205 kilos a few times. He obviously is he's a 102 silver medalist from 2019, and then he moved up to 109. He's looked really good there. Competition PRs somewhere around the 85-220 mark. Then there was there were a lot of South Koreans, and I'm going to be honest, I don't know the name of a lot of these athletes, so they might not be being shown, but we have so much footage of this session, and it was a pretty heavy session for a lot of them, that I actually wonder if maybe we should just upload the whole thing as a YouTube training hall video. So yeah, if you're interested in that, let us know, just comment down below, we'll put that up. I'll speak to my boy at We Lift Weights and he'll be able to give us the names of all of the athletes, maybe in return for some footage, something like that. And then, really, the moment we've all been waiting for, Lasha turned up to do the heavy session. And he turned up, and before he did this, I was talking to a few people. I said to Gregor, I'm not going to put money on it, but I'm going to say he's going to do 215, 250. Because last time I saw him, he did 210, 255. So I thought, same total, just shifted 5 kilos. And I absolutely smashed it. And the reason I knew was because, well, I didn't know, but the point at which I knew what was going to happen was he jumped from 180 to 195, and he would never normally do that. As soon as he did 195, I was like, well, he's going 215. He's not going to do a 95, 210 jump. He's going to do 95, which he doubled, by the way, 205, 215. He also doubled 205 with maybe he does 10 seconds, I don't know, something like that. Hopefully you guys can just watch that happen right now. And then after this 205 double, he then went to 215, which is the most I've ever seen from him do in a training hall. And he demolished it, and everybody is watching. Clean and jerks, 200, 220, 240, 250. And the thing that I really noticed with Lasha more this time, and I'll do a full training hall session of this at some point for YouTube, and I'll talk more about it, but just the pressure that was on him. I've never really acknowledged it before because he seems so capable to do. We've always said how when he goes and he approaches a weight, there's no doubt that he's going to make it. We're just excited to see him make it. I realized the pressure that was on him, the whole training hall's on him. You can see behind in some of these lifts, every coach has stood there. Behind me, every coach has stood there. They've all got the cameras out. The whole place goes quiet. The athletes are there, and he almost has this indestructible Superman weight of the sport on his shoulders, in a way that nobody else in the world currently does. Liu Xiaojun doesn't have that. He's the other most popular weightlifter in the world. Of course, Hsing-chun doesn't have that. Deng Wei doesn't have that. Lasha has that in a way that nobody else does. Also in the session, I should say, because there are a few other pretty decent lifts, we saw Simon Martirosyan. He clean and jerked 220. Couldn't get an angle on that. In fact, once I'd got my spot to film Lasha, I was not budging. And I was able to get a few other shots. So Miso Osona hit a 170 jerk, did miss 75 behind. Matty Rogers hit 98 in the snatch, and I think that was the most that she snatched. I then missed it, but I think she might have done something like a 120, 1+2 clean jerk, but I could be wrong. But yeah, really the story of this session was just Lasha rising to the occasion. When we asked his coach, Georgi Asanidze, what is he going to do? Is he going heavy? Asanidze just pointed to the ceiling. He just pointed to the sky and he said he's going up. So that's all we needed to know. Let's head over now to the 67s and the 73s.
Over to the men's 67As, we had an absolutely phenomenal session here. The first lifter to make a serious claim to medal was Pakistan's Talat Ali with his 143kg opener, after most of his rivals had already started lower. But unfortunately for him, he didn't make another snatch, missing attempts at 46 and 147. He would have to be content with bronze. Then Uzbekistan's Dostan Yokubov made his home crowd go incredibly loud by going 1 kilo better for 144 for the silver. Colombia's Luis Mosquera, one of the fastest lifters ever, he tried 145 3 times, but sadly for him, he missed it every time. And so that left Zulfat Garayev of the Russian Weightlifting Federation to take 146 for the snatch gold and a 2 kilo lead in the total. Colombia did have another lift in the group. In fact, it had another Mosquera, Francisco Mosquera, not related to Luis Mosquera, who finished outside of the snatch medals, but with 137 on the board, he was still in the game. On the clean and jerks, another Uzbek lifter who'd underperformed on the snatch, Adkamjon Ergashev, he forced his way into the medals with 174. And then after Luis Mosquera withdrew, his teammate Francisco Mosquera really delivered for Colombia, hitting 179 for the silver. But it really was Uzbekistan's day there when Yakubov hit 180 for the clean and jerk and total golds, and Mosquera, who could not manage 181 to beat him. So Dostin Yakubov in gold, silver to Mosquera, and the bronze to Gurayev, whose big snatch was enough to hold off these stronger clean and jerks. In the men's 73, snatches went well here with very few missed lifts, just 2 from the top 6 lifters. And this is obviously a surprise when you've got 2 Albanians lifting amongst them. The Russian Weightlifting Federation's Sergei Petrov put up 153 for bronze, and this was matched by the first Albanian, Erkan Karamaj, but of course matching it wasn't enough for a medal. Thailand's Sitipong Jiram went 1 kilo better for 154 for the silver, and then another Albanian, Bekan Kalja, pushed the bar up 2 kilos to 156 to take the gold in the snatch. In the clean and jerks, Petrov went well below the pace on 178. Karamaj again finished just outside the medals on 180. Jong Han-sol of Korea made up a poor snatch performance with 181 to grab bronze. Kalja Brikan pushed to 186 for silver, but missed 190 to try and keep his clean and jerk and total gold chances alive. So gold went to Rahmat Abdullah of Indonesia, who'd finished 5th on the snatch, but his 3 for 3, 180, 186, 192 performance was enough for the clean and jerk and total of 343 for the overall gold. Kalja Brikan finished in silver in the total with 342, and G Ram took bronze with 334, a kilo up from Karamaj, who was in the unhappiest position of being 4th place on everything. If you want to record training, train smart, track trends, and set records, then grab the Weightlifting House Training Journal. The link is down below.